So, hello student, very good morning to everyone. And I think this is my fourth lecture on radicals in organic synthesis. So, these are the points that we had learned in the last lecture. That is addition to multiple bonds. So the radical can add to multiple bond. So here, so in the last lecture we had taken this example, that is isobutene undergoes addition reaction by a radical mechanism in the reagent is HBr, hydrobromic acid, in presence of this dialkyl peroxide, and you will get this addition product, and the addition reaction takes place on the basis of your anti-Markovnikov's rule. And here you can see that this the bromine adds to the carbon that having more number of hydro hydrogen. It means that the addition reaction takes place on the basis of anti-Markovnikov's rule. Again, in the last lecture we had learned its reaction mechanism. So this reaction goes via uh, uh, for, three different step. That is, in the first step, what happen, this your dialkyl peroxide, it is homolyzed by heat or light. So it having this weak bond, oxygen oxygen single bond. So this bond is called as peroxide bond, and that bond undergoes homolysis by heat or light to give two alkoxy radicals. So we'll get two alkoxy radical, that is RO radical. Then the next step, in the next step, what happen? Uh, that RO alkoxy radical abstract hydrogen from this HBr, and it generate bromine radical. It gives bromine radical. Then that bromine radical adds to this isobutene, and it generate carbon center radical. Then that carbon center radical, in the last step, the carbon center radical abstract hydrogen from HBr to form the final addition product, and it regenerate bromine radical, which can react with another molecule of this isobutene. So this is the point that we had learned in the last lecture, that is addition to multiple bonds. And under this we have taken this example, addition of HBr to this isobutene in presence of H mu and your dialkyl peroxide. Then again, in the last lecture we had learned this radical chain reaction, and in that we had taken the example, that is conversion of ethylene into polyethylene. So it is a radical chain reaction. So ethylene on polymerization in presence of free radical initiator such as benzoyl peroxide, it gives polyethylene. The polymerization takes place via free radical mechanism, and it involves three steps. So the ethylene undergoes polymerization in presence of benzoyl peroxide, and the polymerization reaction takes place via free radical mechanism, and it involves three steps. So in the first step, what happens? This benzoyl peroxide on heating, benzoyl, this is the structure of benzoyl peroxide. It on heating undergoes homolysis of this weak bond peroxide bond, and it generates benzyl oxy radical, benzyl oxy free radical, which turns which on decomposition, it gives phenyl free radical. Then that phenyl free radical that adds to your ethylene molecule, producing another free radical, the radical on that ethylene. This is about first step. Then in the second step, what happen, the free radical form in the above step, that is your C6H5CH2 radical, that adds to another ethylene molecule, that adds to another ethylene molecule. and the successive addition takes place. The number of ethylene molecule add in this manner, and it results into the propagation of chain reaction. Then the number of your ethylene molecule adds, and it involves number of steps. Then the last step is the long chain. Last step is simply the termination step. The long chain free radical can be terminated by free radical by coupling reaction or by disproportionation reaction. So the last step is simply the termination, and it can be terminated by radical coupling. And the radical coupling is nothing but the coupling of two radical, and you get simply the neutral molecule. And in disproportionation reaction, you will get one alkene and one alkane molecule. So it's a simply a disproportionation reaction, and so this is one of the method by using you can terminate your radical chain reaction by coupling and disproportionation reaction. So this is about the radical chain reaction. Then again in the last lecture we had learned this auto oxidation reaction. What auto oxidation reaction? So auto oxidation, it is nothing but the spontaneous oxidation of organic molecule. It is a spontaneous oxidation of organic molecule in presence of air, that is called as auto oxidation. And the slow oxidation, that is without combustion, the slow oxidation without combustion of organic substances by atmospheric oxygen is called as auto oxidation. And the reaction occurs when the compound are allowed to stand in air, and it is catalyzed by light or initiator, and inhibited by antioxidant. So you can inhibit that reaction by antioxidant such as hydroquinone. And and then the importance of this your auto oxidation is, it is used for the useful application of this auto oxidation is uh, in is the atmospheric drying of paints and vanishes. A useful application of auto oxidation is atmospheric drying of paints and vanishes. So paints and vanishes undergoes auto oxidation, and it can easily dry that, and it's the application. So atmospheric drying of paints and vanishes by auto oxidation. So again in the last lecture we had learned that the ethereal solvent undergoes auto oxidation. Ethereal solvent undergoes also auto oxidation so radially if they store it for a long time, and they oxidize, and it produces some amount of your hydroperoxide product. It produces some amount of your hydroperoxide product, and that hydroperoxide are unstable and decomposes violently when heated. So that hydroperoxide products are they are unstable, and it decomposes easily, and it decomposes violently, not easily, they decomposes violently when heated. The condition is when heated, the hydroperoxide products are unstable and decomposes violently when heated. So in the last lecture we had taken the example, that is this diethyl ether, the structure of diethyl ether. So this diethyl ether undergoes auto oxidation in presence of open air, and you will get this hydroperoxide of diethyl ether. You will get this hydroperoxide of diethyl ether. So in reaction we have learned the reaction mechanism of it. So in that the oxygen molecule undergoes your cleavage of that oxygen molecule, and you will get the oxygen radical. Then the mechanism for the auto oxidation involves abstraction of hydrogen from carbon bearing oxygen by an oxygen molecule, and it leads to the formation of radical and the hydroperoxide radical. It leads to the formation of radical and hydroperoxide radical. Then these two radical then react with each other to form the ether hydroperoxide. Then lastly that this your the radical generated from that ether and the hydroperoxide radical react. Then these two molecules react with each other to form the ether hydroperoxide. So this is that what we had learned in the last lecture. Then again we had learned that the furan undergoes auto oxidation. The furan undergoes auto oxidation to form explosive. So the furan also undergoes auto oxidation, and it produces your explosive. Then again in the last lecture we had learned that the your uh, auto oxidation of cumene to cumene hydroperoxide. So your cumene undergoes auto oxidation and it produces cumene hydroperoxide. So these are the points that we had covered in the last lecture, that is addition to multiple bonds, radical chain reaction, conversion of ethylene into polyethylene, and auto oxidation. So today I am going to teach you the intra and intermolecular carbon-carbon bond formation via tributyl tene hydride. So the role of we'll see the intra and intermolecular carbon-carbon bond formation via tributyl tene hydride. So intramolecular means the carbon-carbon bond formation within the molecule, and the intermolecular carbon-carbon bond formation means the carbon-carbon bond formation within the different molecule in a two different molecule via tributyl tene hydride. So this tributyl tene hydride is used to form this intra and intermolecular carbon carbon bond formation. And you know that the this carbon carbon bond formation reaction are very important in organic synthesis, synthetic organic chemistry, because it is used for the preparation of drugs and dyes and in different useful chemicals. So the carbon carbon bond formation reaction is very important in synthetic organic chemistry. So this reagent is very important, tributyl tene hydride. So uh, so the addition of radical to alkene, so consider the addition of radical to alkene, it is the important method for the formation of carbon carbon bond. So when a radical adds to your alkene, and it is a very important method for the formation of carbon carbon bonds. Here the carbon carbon bond form, and this addition produces the adduct. This addition produces the adduct radical. It will convert to adduct radical. Then it is converted into non-radical adduct. Then it is converted to non-radical adduct, and this can be achieved by trapping method. This can be achieved by trapping method. And this tene hydride, it can be used as a trapper in the formation of carbon carbon bond, and mainly this tributyl tene hydride. Tributyl tene hydride is used under strong condition for the conversion of that radical adduct into non-radical adduct. So this is a radical adduct. So by using this non your tributyl tene hydride, you can convert this radical adduct into non-radical adduct. And this trapper requires a radical initiator. This trapper involve radical initiator. So the radical initiator are hydrogen peroxide and your benzoyl peroxide, acetyl peroxide, azobis isobutyl nitrile. So these are the radical initiator which are required for the carbon carbon bond formation via tributyl tene hydride to start the reaction. So the tene hydride, it can be used as a trapper in the formation of carbon carbon bond. Mainly this tributyl tene hydride used under strong condition. It requires strong condition, means heating or irradiating with the light, or so it requires very strong condition. And this trapper required the initiators such as hydrogen peroxide, benzoyl peroxide, acetyl peroxide, and AIBN, azobis isobutyl nitrile. So the addition to alkene is a very important method for the formation of carbon carbon bond, and this addition produces adduct, radical adduct. Then it is converted into non-radical adduct, and this can be achieved by this tributyl tene hydride, and that is called as trapping method. That is called as trapping method. And tene hydride, it can be used as a trapper in the formation of carbon carbon bond. And mainly this tributyl tene hydride is used under strong condition, and this require the radical initiators such as hydrogen peroxide, benzoyl peroxide, acetyl peroxide, AIBN, and azobis isobutyl nitrile. So these are the initiator that require in your reaction with this tributyl tene hydride. So this is the simple general reaction. So this R radical adds to this alkene and it generates this radical adduct. Then this radical adduct takes this hydrogen from this tributyl hydride, and we'll get this non-radical adduct. We'll get this non-radical adduct. Now, so here in the next slide, we'll see the in detail that is reaction mechanism. So you know that the reaction mechanism it is nothing but the step-by-step explanation of your reaction. So we'll see first the general mechanism, how this tributyl hydride it acts as a trapper, and how it can use for the formation of carbon-carbon bond. That is that carbon-carbon bond may be intramolecular or intermolecular bond. Okay, so so this is the structure of your azobis isobutyl nitrile, and this azobis isobutyl nitrile undergoes homolysis. So it's identical molecule. So this single bond is there, sigma bond. It undergoes homolysis, so it breaks homolytically. So the electron will shift here after homolysis, and after breaking of this, it generates this p radical. Same here, it generates the radical. Then this two nitrogen radical will form bond. It will convert to N2 molecule. Then this radical, this bond will break, and the radical will generate this C radical. So you are having now this two C radical. Consider this a carbon radical. So you will generate this carbon radical and N2 molecule. It generates carbon radical and N2 molecule. Now in the next step, this carbon radical uh, is reacting with a tributyl hydride. So this is your tributyl, Bu means butyl tributyl 3 tributyl SN14 hydride, tributyl hydride. So the homolysis of this tributyl hydride takes place, and this hydrogen radical react with this C radical, carbon radical, and it will form bond with this carbon, and will get this neutral molecule, and it generate butyl radical. It will generate butyl radical. It will generate butyl radical. Then the next step is this butyl radical on reaction with this RX alkyl halide. So the homolysis of this Rx molecule takes place. So X will form bond with this X SN. Sorry, butyl hydride will form bond with this X. It will convert to Bu3 SNX, and it generate R radical. It generate R radical. Then this generated R radical, it will react with alkene. It will react with your alkene here, and so this R radical will react with this alkene. So the alkene having this carbon-carbon double bond, so it breaks it homolytically. So this carbon radical will react with this R radical. It form the bond. This radical will form the bond with this carbon. So here R CH3 and generate the radical adduct. In this radical adduct react with your tributyl hydride. So this C radical takes hydrogen from tributyl and convert to non-radical adduct, and it generates butyl hydride. Butyl hydride. So this butyl generated butyl hydride, again here it enters in this step and generate R radical, and the reaction will continue till the completion of reaction. So now here you understand the role of this tributyl hydride. So it requires the initiator. So in presence of IIBN, it generates this tributyl hydride. Then here this tributyl hydride, it generates the R radical. It generates the R radical from Rx. So Rx is your alkyl halide. So this is the general formula for alkyl halide. So instead of this R, it may be ethyl, methyl, propyl, butyl. You can generate the variety of alkyl radical from alkyl halide. So this is the application of this tributyl hydride. So the wide range of application that a wide range of application. You can use the variety of alkyl halide, and you can generate variety of alkyl radical, and that you can add that alkyl radical and your alkene, and you can produce the different molecule novel molecule. So it's a simple, then I already explained you. So will this tributyltin hydride react with this C radical? So it takes this hydrogen, convert to CH, and it generate this tributyltin radical. It generate this tributyltin radical. This is about the mechanism, general mechanism of tributyltin hydride, how it acts as a trapper, how it convert your non-radical, how it convert radical adduct into non-radical adduct, how it trap that radical. So simply trap in this way. Now, so here in this slide, we'll see uh, a variety of substrate can be used to generate the alkyl free radical. The variety of substrate can be used to alkyl radical by using tributyl tin hydride, by using this tributyl tin hydride. So we can use a variety of substrate, and the substrate we can generate this R radical. We can generate this R radical by using this tributyl tin hydride, and the substrates are, you can generate from alkyl halide, you can generate from alkyl halide, and also you can generate from nitroalkane. So you can generate that R radical from nitroalkane. Again, you can generate this R radical from xanthate. So this tributyl tin hydride, it's a wide range of application in radicals in organic synthesis. So it's a very important reagent. It can generate the alkyl radical from your alkyl halide, or it can generate from nitroalkane, and it can generate R radical from xanthate. So it has a wide range of application in radicals in organic synthesis. So we'll see this first one, that is it generate how it generates R radical from R radical from your alkyl halide. So this alkyl halide, here the general formula, this alkyl halide on reaction with this tributyl tin hydride in presence of AIBN, azobis isobutyl nitrile, it generates R radical. So we'll see how this tributyl tin hydride convert this alkyl halide into alkyl radical. So we'll see its reaction mechanism, and you know that the reaction mechanism is nothing but it is a step-by-step explanation of your reaction. We'll see the step-by-step. So first, this tributyl tin hydride undergoes homolysis. So yeah, so this tributyl tin hydride, it's a symmetrical molecule. It's a symmetrical molecule, and it having nitrogen bond. It's having this azo bond. This bond is also called as azo bond, and this having carbon nitrogen single bond. So it will undergoes homolysis from here, and the same the homolysis takes place from this carbon nitrogen bond, and it generate this 2C 2 carbon radical. I am calling it as a carbon radical, and plus it generate the neutral nitrogen molecule, neutral nitrogen molecule, N2 molecule. Okay, it generate neutral N2 molecule in presence of H mu. Now the next step is the next step is this carbon radical, it will react with this tributyl tin hydride. So the homolysis of this tributyl tin hydride takes place. This tributyl tin hydride undergoes homolysis, it generates butyl tin radical and H radical. Then that H radical will react with this carbon radical, and you will get this neutral molecule, and it generates this butene tributyl tin radical. It generates this tributyl tin radical. Again, in the next step, this generated tributyl tin radical, it react with your alkyl halide. So this alkyl halide undergoes homolysis. It generates R radical and X radical. Then in the next step, this tributyl tin radical, it react with your halide radical. React with your halide radical. This halide may be any halogen, that is, it may be fluorine, it may be chlorine, it may be bromine, or it may be iodine. So it will react with this SN10 will form bond with this X, and you will get this tributyl tin halide. You will get tributyl tin halide. Now and it generate this R radical. Then this R radical, the application of this tributyltin anhydride start this R radical generated R radical from this alkyl halide. You can add this R radical to any carbon carbon double bond or carbon carbon triple bond, and you can use this radical for intra or intermolecular carbon carbon bond formation. So here you can react with this another molecule. So here it is example of your intermolecular carbon carbon bond formation, because you are forming the bond between two different molecule, R molecule and this ethylene molecule. So it's the intermolecular carbon carbon bond formation, because you are forming the bond between two different molecules. So here this R radical will react with this ethylene. So this ethylene molecule undergoes homolysis. It generates twice CH2 radical. So then that one CH2 radical will react with this R and it will form carbon carbon bond. So this R radical will react with this C radical, and R will form bond with this C. So here is it form the sigma bond, and here you are having this CH2. Say the two hydrogen are there. Actually it's two, say two. So two, now you can understand, it says CH2 radical, then this CH2 radical, you will get this radical adduct, and then we are trapping that by using this tributyltin hydride. So you are converting this your radical adduct into non-radical adduct. So this tributyltin hydride undergoes homolysis, and it will generate hydrogen radical and tributyltin radical. So this hydrogen radical react with this CH2 radical, it form the neutral molecule, and this generated, the next step is the generated tributyltin radical. It will enter in your it will again comes into this third step. It will generate uh, R radical from Rx radical. So the reaction will continue till the completion of reaction. So it's a cyclic reaction. So the generated butyltin radical, again it enters in step 2, and it generates alkyl radical from alkyl halide. So this is about the reaction mechanism. Again I am explaining you for your understanding, so you can understand that in a three-dimensional way. So so we are using this alkyl halide to generate R radical. So this is the simple reaction, alkyl halide on reaction with tributyltin hydride and AIBN, you will get this R radical. Then the next step is very simple. This AIBN undergoes homolysis in presence of HMA. You will get this carbon radical and N2 molecule. Then this carbon radical on reaction with this tributyltin hydride undergoes homolysis, and it will generate tributyltin radical, and this hydrogen radical react with this carbon radical and generate the neutral molecule. Then this tributyltin radical enters in the next step, then it react with your alkyl halide, and it react with alkyl halide, the homolysis takes place. Then this tributyltin hydride react with this X, and you will get hydride butyltin halide butyltin halide, and it generate R radical. Then that R radical, you can add that radical to any carbon carbon double bond or carbon carbon triple bond for the formation of carbon carbon bonds. We are adding to this ethylene molecule, the homolysis takes place. This C radical will react with this R radical, it form the sigma bond. Then this it generates CH2 radical, it says CH2, and C radical will react with this tributyltin hydride. It's a conversion of your radical product into non-radical product. Say this method is called as trapping method. You are trapping that radical. Otherwise, what happens? This CH2 radical will react with the ethylene molecule, and the polymerization reaction takes place. The polymerization reaction takes place. To avoid that we are using this tributyl hydride. So this is the use of this tributyl hydride, and this use is very important, and it has a wide range of application due to its trapping method, due to its trapping effect. So it traps that and it converts this neutral molecule. So this is about the reaction mechanism. Now we'll see the next, that is generation of R radical from nitroalkane. So this is one of the substrates. So that's why I'm telling you that tributyltin it has a wide range of application. It can generate alkyl radical from alkyl halide, nitroalkane, and your xanthate. So here this this is the general formula for nitroalkane. This nitroalkane on reaction with tributyl hydride and AIBN, you will get this R radical. Then then the next step is we'll see its reaction mechanism, how this tributyl hydride and AIBN convert this nitroalkane into uh, alkane radical or a R radical. So in reaction, that reaction mechanism is nothing but it is a step-by-step explanation. So for your detailed understanding, I'm going to now teach you. I'm going to show you the mechanism, the reaction mechanism of this. So this AIBN undergoes homolysis. It having this sigma bond, and that will undergoes homolysis. So it's a symmetrical molecule. Same the homolysis takes place on this part, and in presence of HME you will get this carbon center radical, 2 carbon center radical, and N2 molecule. It will generate N2 molecule. Then this N2 molecule, uh, you will generate this N2 molecule. Then this carbon radical react with your tributyl hydride. So the tributyl hydride undergoes homolysis. It generate butyl radical and hydrogen radical. So that hydrogen radical will react with your carbon radical. This carbon radical takes that hydrogen and it form the bond with this carbon. So here one hydrogen is there. So I'm writing in a zigzag fashion. So you understand, you assume that this carbon is attached to hydrogen, one of the hydrogen, that is this one. Then it generates this butyl radical, tributyl radical. Then this tributyl radical, it will react with your nitroalkane. Nitroalkane. So these are maybe any uh, aryl or alkyl group. So this tributyl radical react with this nitroalkane. So nitroalkane, you are having nitrogen oxygen double bond, so that undergoes homolysis, and that oxygen radical of nitro group will react with this tributyltin radical, and this oxygen will form with bond with this butyl tributyltin hydride, and same way this bond undergoes homolysis and the radical shift on nitrogen, and this negative charge will delocalize here. It form oxygen nitrogen double bond, and the same time the homolysis of this your nitro RN bond takes place. Same way the homolysis of this RN bond takes place, and it generates the R radical. So it generates the R radical, and this butyl hydride, tributyl hydride form the bond with this oxygen, nitrogen, and double bond. So it double get that delocalize. It form nitrogen oxygen double bond. Now this generated R radical, you can react this R radical, consider it's a nitromethane, so R is equal to methane, so you can add this methyl radical into any carbon carbon double bond or carbon carbon triple bond. So this is the application of this tributyltin hydride, and again I am explaining this, so that this nitroalkane nitroalkane we are using this substrate for generation of R radical. The substrate is nitroalkane, in reaction with your tributylene hydride and AIBN, tributylene hydride and AIBN. So tributylene hydride and AIBN. So it generates the R radical. It generates the R radical. So it generates R radical. So we'll see its reaction mechanism. So in reaction mechanism, you are having this adobis isobutyl nitrile. This undergoes homolysis. So it has a symmetrical molecule. So same bond is here. So it will undergo homolysis. It generates N2 molecule and carbon radical in presence of H mu. That is light. So then the next step is it will this carbon radical will react with your tributylene hydride. So tributylene hydride undergoes homolysis and it generates tributylene radical and hydrogen radical. Then that hydrogen radical react with this carbon radical and generate the neutral molecule, and again it generate what your tributylene radical. Then that tributylene radical react with nitroalkane. It having nitroalkane having nitro group, and so it having this nitrogen oxygen double bond. That bond undergoes homolysis, and this oxygen form bond with this tributylene radical, and same way this negative charge will delocalize it form nitrogen oxygen double bond, and the same way the homolysis of this the homolysis of this uh, homolysis of this Rn bond takes place, and it generate R radical. So and it generate this product. It's unstable, and so this tributylene radical form bond with this oxygen, tributylene oxygen nitrogen and double bond, and it generate R radical. Now we can add this nitrogen radical into any carbon carbon double bond or carbon carbon triple bond. You can use this radical for the formation of intra or intermolecular carbon carbon bond formation. So like this you can add that R radical for here add to in molecule carbon carbon double bond. This is the applications I'm not showing here, so because already that you have learned in the previous slide here. So now the next slide, the next substrate is that is xanthate, generation of R radical alkyl radical from xanthate. So we can generate so for the preparation of xanthate we can actually require alcohol. So this is the application. We can generate the alkyl radical from alcohol. We can generate alkyl radical from alcohol. Normally if you are generating your alcohol, when you are irradiate alcohol, you will get the alkoxy radical. You will get alkoxy radical, not a R radical. So this is the drawback. But when you convert into xanthates, and when you react that xanthates with your tributylene hydride, you will get this alkyl radical. You will get this alkyl radical. So this is the application. This is the application of this tributylene hydride. So we'll see its reaction mechanism, how we can convert this alcohol into alkyl radical. So this alcohol, general formula ROH, undergoes reaction with this carbon disulfide CH2, like your carbon dioxide. We are having its uh, its what like having its CH2. So it will react with that CH2 and in presence of KOH. So the reaction between these three molecule takes place, and the three reagent takes place. You will get this ROCH2 K plus K and H2O. Then this will react with your methyl iodide, and you will get this xanthate. The name of this molecule is xanthate. Then this xanthate undergoes reaction with this tributylene hydride. It will undergoes reaction with this tributylene hydride, and you will get this R radicals. This is the application. Normally we can't generate this R radical when you irradiate directly alcohol in presence of light. So when we radiate or heat, you will get the alkoxy radical, not a R radical. But when you prepare this into xanthate, and when that you react that xanthate with tributyl tin hydride, you will get this alkyl radical. So this is the application of your tributyl tin hydride. So we'll see its reaction mechanism. So you know that the reaction mechanism is nothing but it is a step-by-step explanation of your reaction. So I will explain you in detail so you can easily understand that, and you can understand in a 3D, in a three-dimensional. You can view this reaction in three-dimensional. So you will have a better understanding. So in the reaction mechanism, so you know that the reaction mechanism is nothing but the step-by-step explanation of your reaction. So in the first step, what happened? This alcohol ROH react with KOH, and the role of this KOH is what? It acts as a base. K plus and OH minus, so the OH minus acts as a base, and it takes the acidic proton, and you know the acidic proton is the proton which is attached to this oxygen. Oxygen is more electronegative than hydrogen, so there is a high polarity. This bond is polar bond, and this hydrogen is acidic one due to electronegativity of this oxygen. So this your base can easily abstract this proton, and the bond pair shift on oxygen. So there is a negative charge on that oxygen, and now this negative charge containing oxygen, that is oxygen anion, negative charge containing oxygen or oxygen anion, it acts as a nucleophile. It acts as a nucleophile, and the role of nucleophile is it attack on your electrophile. It see the electrophilic center in your reagent, and it easily attack on that. So the electrophilic center is this carbon. This carbon is electrophilic or electropositive, and the reason behind this is this carbon is attached to two sulfur. It having this two sulfur, and sulfur is more electronegative than carbon. Sulfur is more electronegative than carbon. So due to this more electronegativity of this sulfur, the carbon is electropositive or electrophilic. So there is slightly delta positive charge on this carbon and slightly delta negative charge on this sulfur. So this oxygen anion, it acts as a nucleophile, and this is electrophile. So this nucleophile attack on this electrophile. So this nucleophile form bond with this carbon, and when it attacks, this bond will break, because when it attach here, the carbon is hypervalence. Now the carbon having four bonds, so this bond will break. So the carbon sulfur bond will break, and you know that carbon sulfur, you are having two bond, that is one pi bond and one sigma bond, and the pi bond will break because pi bond is formed by the lateral overlapping of p orbital, and the pi bond is weak bond. The pi bond is weak bond, so the pi bond will break, and the whatever the bond pair present on this CH bond, the bond pair shift on oxygen. So we are writing it is in that, we are writing that the bond pair in a negative charge, in a negative form. So the negative, there will be the negative charge in the next structure, and this O minus will form bond, the oxygen will form the bond, and there is a negative charge on sulfur. So this is your R. So this is your R O C double bond S and S minus. So this, now this S minus, S negative, it is in negative note, it is in alone, so it will be with your K plus. Now this, the next step is this S minus. This S minus will act as a nucleophile. You know that the negative charge containing species and the species that having lone pair of electron that are nucleophilic or that are nucleophile. So this S minus act as a nucleophile. It acts as a nucleophile. So it acts as a nucleophile, and it react with your electrophile. So here you are reacting with methyl iodide, and the carbon of this methyl iodide is electrophilic due to electron withdrawing group of this iodine. It's a polar bond. Due to inductive effect, this iodine withdraws electron towards itself and make this carbon as electrophilic or electropositive. So this, due to the polarity, as there is slightly delta negative charge on this iodine, and there is slightly delta positive charge on this carbon. So this carbon will act as a electrophile, and this is your nucleophile. So this S minus will attack on this carbon, and it replaces this iodine. It replaces this iodine. Iodine is a living group. Then this it will convert to I minus. Iodine is a good living group. That I minus will form ionic bond with K plus, and so minus Ki is a byproduct. It form ionic bond with this K plus. So there is a ionic bond between K plus and I minus. Then this O minus form bond with ox. Sulfur will bond the form bond with this CH3 methyl group. So ROC double bond SSCH3. Then the role of tributyl hydride begins. Now the role of tributyl hydride begins. So it's up to this. Now this is your interval. The interval start from here, like in movie. So the interval start from here. So the tributyl hydride in terms of AIBN. So first this AIBN, azobis isobutyl nitrile, it undergoes homolysis. So it's identical molecule. The homolysis of the sigma bond takes place from both the sides. In presence of H mu, you will get this carbon radical. Then that carbon radical, it will react with tributyl hydride, and yeah, so that this tributyl hydride also undergoes homolysis. It generates tributyl radical and H radical. So that H radical form bond with this C radical, or H radical react with this C radical. It generates the neutral molecule. So it actually it is in a zigzag fashion. So zigzag fashion. So this carbon having one hydrogen here. I'm not writing that, so you can understand. Now you are in MSc, you can understand that. You can easily understand that. So and generate this butyl tributyl radical. Now this tributyl radical, it will react with your xanthate. This xanthate, it will react with your xanthate. So xanthate, you are having carbon sulfur double bond, so that bond undergoes homolysis. You will get S radical and C radical. Then this S radical react with this tributyl radical, so S will form with this tributyl radical. In the same way, this RO bond undergoes homolysis. It generates R radical and O radical. Then that O radical react with this C radical. It form carbon oxygen double bond, and generate R radical. And this S radical form bond with this tributyl radical, and this R radical. Now this generated R radical, you can react that R radical to carbon carbon double bond or carbon carbon triple. You can add this R radical to any carbon carbon or carbon carbon triple bond for the formation of intra or intermolecular carbon carbon bond formation. This is the reaction mechanism. It's very simple, but when I am explaining you for deep for understanding, we can easily understand that. So this ROH react with this CS2 in terms of KOH, and you'll get this O ROCH2 S minus K plus, and water it react with this CH3I. You'll get this xanthate undergoes reaction with this tributyl hydride. You will get this R radical. So we'll see its reaction mechanism. The reaction mechanism is very simple. This alcohol react with this KOH, and the role of this KOH, it acts as a base. It takes this proton and the bond pair shift on oxygen, so negative charge. It acts as a nucleophile, and this your electrophile due to electron withdrawing group of this sulfur is more electronegative, so there is a slightly delta positive on charge on this carbon, so it acts as a electrophile. So this O minus attack on this carbon, the bond will break and the bond pair shift on oxygen, so there is a negative charge, and this oxygen will form bond with this carbon. So ROC double bond S minus, so that's S minus. It acts as a nucleophile because it have a negative charge. So it react with your methyl iodide. The carbon is electrophilic carbon. So this nucleophile will react with this electrophilic carbon and replace this iodine, and this iodine I minus react with your K, it form potassium iodide as a byproduct. So, and this sulfur form bond with this CH3, so RO C double bond S CH3. Then this so now this is your xanthate. Xanthate react with your tributyl hydride in presence of AIBN. So AIBN is the identical molecule. It acts as the initiator. So it undergoes homolysis in presence of HMU, you will get this carbon radical. Carbon radical react with your tributyltin hydride, and the same way tributyltin hydride undergoes homolysis, and it generates your C radical. It generates hydrogen radical, and hydrogen radical react with C radical, and you will get the neutral molecule, and it generates tributyltin radical. Tributyltin radical again it react with your xanthate, and so the homolysis of this C double bond S takes place, so it generates S radical and C radical. Same way this RO bond undergoes homolysis, it generates R radical and O radical. So R radical form bond with this C radical, this CS radical form bond with this tributyltin. You will get this product and generate R radical. Now this R radical generated R radical, you can react this generated R radical with any carbon-carbon double bond or carbon-carbon triple bond for the formation of intra or intermolecular bond formation. So, it has a wide variety of application, and the a variety of substrate can be used to generate the alkyl radical or R radical by using tributyltin hydride. So in today's lecture we had learned that we can generate alkyl radical from your alkyl halide by using tributyltin hydride. We can also generate from nitroalkane, and we can also generate R radical from xanthate. So it has a wide variety of application in radical organic synthesis. So thank you.